Dosm's Rentals.
Hey YouTube, Dosm Ryer here. Welcome to my holiday buyer's guide video for 2023. I usually do one of these every year, kind of recommending some core recommendations from things I cover on the channel in regards to PR, Sentai Rider, all that, and other odds and ends. Bit of a weird year for some of them, as I have some, I don't know, hot takes and weird recommendations, but let's get started. And, with that, PR I think just has kind of a weird list this year because it was a really weird year of releases with the Lightning Collection kind of winding down, the main line, quote-unquote, for Cosmic Fury being pretty much non-existent. So the picks on here are a little bit weird. Not weird, but you'll see what I mean. Like, for example, number one is the Master Morpher, which was the last Lightning Morpher released as of right now, based off the Master Morpher from Dimensions in Danger. It was one of the last things JDF worked on, giving some voice lines to it. It's a mixed release with some really weird dialogue in it, but it's a really cool and special release in my opinion. It's only a weird pick because as of this recording, I don't think you can still get it on Hasbro Pulse. I could be wrong about that. I know people have been scalping. But if you can somehow, by some miracle, get your hands on this, if like Hasbro somehow stocks more, or you can find one on the aftermarket for a reasonable-ish price, and you're interested in it, I recommend getting it, not only because it's, I think, a special release in light of everything, but also there's a good chance this price will skyrocket in the future, so you might as well at least attempt to get it while you can. This might be like a fruitless recommendation, it might already be too hard to get, but I figured I'd at least mentioned it. Speaking of, I don't know if these are still available on Hasbro Pulse right now, but I definitely recommend the Lightning Collection Omega Pack. Not only do I think it's a great pack, but it's probably figures we won't get for a long time. Like, if they come back with the Lightning Collection or anything close to it, I doubt we'll be getting any other Omegas anytime soon, so I definitely recommend those. The last recommendation, Lightning Collection related wise, at least figures, is, this is a bit of a weird recommendation. I would just say, if there's any figures you're interested in that are like currently available in the ecosystem of like Target or Amazon or like your local comic shop on their normal price, I would maybe get them if you know they're of a decent quality. Like, for example, I'm not going to quadruple dip on the Breakable Izzy figure, but I might pick up like Lightspeed Rescue Blue just because who knows if they're going to come back with it. I know there's some people that don't care at all if they can never complete a team, but you never know, like once they're gone, I think they're gone. I think they're going to cycle out the Lightning Collection and we don't know what's happening in the future. So I'm just going to advise if there's anything you're remotely interested in, like the Blue Centurion, which is a great figure, I would just pick it up before you would regret it. This is going to be a hot take and kind of a double take recommendation, which is both the Cosmic Fury Megazord and Q-Reno. And by that I mean, the Cosmic Fury Megazords, it's not the greatest Megazord, it doesn't look the greatest, but it's honestly overall fine. If you set aside the initial price of being $70, which is not worth it for that much, the original price, it's honestly a fine PR mech that, on par with what we usually got before they got rid of the articulation, or they brought in the articulation. Setting aside that, I think they did bring the price down to $55, like not long after it came out, and it stayed that way. It probably is that way as of the time I'm recording this, but there's a good chance it will go down even farther. I'm not sure I can even say it's worth the $55, but I'm just going to say, like, if you like this and you want something that might be compatible with your Dino Fury Zords, especially for kids, if this goes on sale for like anywhere between 30-something and 40-something, I can recommend it. That's probably going to be a hot take from the purists out there, but I'm just saying if it goes on sale, it's worth it. But Q-Reno also, given the $70, $55 price tag, you can probably find something for in that price range on Mandarake or something. Same thing for the Cosmic Dragon Megazord or whatever it was called, the Ryusuteo, whatever. You can probably find those on the aftermarket. So I'd recommend those, if you want more complete. But I'm just saying, if the Cosmic Megazord goes on sale for $40, it's probably worth it, especially for a kid. So I forgot to mention Lightning Collection-wise, if you can still find a couple of these things, at a sale, I think that the Power Lance and Power Daggers were actually pretty cool. They didn't feel worth it for the retail price, but if you can find a Black Friday or type price before they disappear, definitely recommend it. Same thing with stuff like maybe some helmets. I really like the helmets, like Blue Ranger's helmet was great. If you find a price for those before they disappear. Last recommendation PR-wise in regards to merchandise is this guy behind me right here, this really awesome new Green Ranger matte statue. I think it's really great. Just kind of like those, like Diamond Collectibles or whatever, not Diamond Collectibles, but those other statues, PCS Collectible statues. It's a very well done statue for a reasonable price if you like the design. Now moving on to Sentai, right, I only really have two basic recommendations because I didn't buy anything like weird or anything, not weird, but like no memorial editions or anything this year or anything of the sort. So really basic recommendations of just King Oger's main changer, the caliber, it's an overall solid changer. It's a lot of fun. I mean, maybe you're a person that's going to hold out for the eventual Memorial Edition that'll be true to size. But as is, I can recommend it if you like King Oger. I think it's a fun changer, especially with the Bop It gimmick to mess around with. And the King Oger mecha in general, I think, has been a very solid line of very good-looking mecha, with the articulation making it even better. I can honestly recommend any of them if you're interested. If I had to give 2 core recommendations, though, for the holidays, I would say just main King Oger is a great place to start. You know, it just kind of gets you started with the collection, and it looks great. It has a lot of playability. And also, the recent reversioning of Shoryujin is fantastic. It looks amazing, feels solid, and is a worthy upgrade of the original mecha, especially if you're like me and yours are falling apart. Now, Rider, I don't really have a lot to talk about. I'm just sliding it back in here as I'm doing more Rider content, because the only thing I've really bought is I did bought like a couple older figure arts that I found on sale. I bought like a couple of Geats figures, so I guess I could recommend those because like the figure arts Geats that I have are good looking. I did buy the God Shard driver, but I honestly can't recommend that because my card reader is all wonky as hell, and I just can't recommend that. So just for my one recommendation, it's a bit outdated. I did pick up the Desire driver, and they're still pretty easy to get a hold of as of this moment. And I would just say if you like Geats, I can recommend it. It's a fun driver. I really only picked it up because I was really enjoying Geats. I wanted something for my collection to represent it. I love the sounds for it. I wasn't that interested in the way it worked, to be honest, but then getting it, it was surprisingly fun. Like, I'm honestly like low-key whenever I'm bored shopping for other gimmicks and stuff to get for it, because I actually found this to be a lot more fun than I thought it would. So I can recommend that. I just wanted to put something in there. Now, as far as other stuff, you know, outside of just normal stuff I usually pick up like Star Wars or Marvel figures or whatever, I was trying to think of anything else I've been collecting this year that I could recommend, and I wanted to give a shout out to the DC Multiverse McFarlane line. Because amongst the discourse of like the Hasbro quality and all that, and especially since the figures in that ecosystem, Lightning Collection or Marvel or Star Wars, have gone up in price, you know, McFarlane Toys has these figures here, which are always, as of this moment, these ones are always $19.99, at least where I get them. I'm sure if you go to like a, you know, collectible shop or something, they might be $24, but you can find these at most normal places for like 19, 20 bucks. On Amazon, there's often sales. Many go on clearance, and they're not perfect, mind you. My 2 biggest complaints about them are probably they don't have very many like hands, sometimes are lacking accessories, and they can have loose joints sometimes. With that being said, they're almost always really good-looking figures for the price. Like, even if this guy has loose joints, it's a really well-detailed, good-looking figure for 20 bucks or less. Like, odds are you'll be able to find it for probably at least 17 on Amazon if you wait a little bit. And they also do stuff like this, these little statues that will come out with the figure lines. Like, this one was awesome. I only liked Blue Beetle, the movie, okay, to be honest, but I've always loved the character and the design. I'm like, I had to pick this up. Like, I think this is $40 at retail, which, in my opinion, I mean, it's a little small, but in my opinion, considering I've seen other statues that look almost as good as this go for like 100 bucks or almost, that's a pretty good price. But these also go on sale a lot. I just recently saw the Batman Keaton one from The Flash, which I also have, go on sale for like 15 bucks. So if you can get those on sale, that's great. I'm actually happy I got that though, and I did. I'm sure that it's on sale somewhere for like 5 bucks, but I bought it at my local Target and they never stocked it again. Like, I never saw it again. I always saw the Keaton Batman thing, but I only ever saw Keaton Batman and then the enemy from that movie. So like, I picked that up right away because I was just excited. I'm like, I should have waited for a sale, but anyway. So that was my only recommendation in that realm. Now, as far as like DVDs and stuff, you know, there's all kinds of awesome superhero movies and stuff that came out. I would say that it's pretty cool that they did come out with and are coming out with a couple of the Disney Plus shows like Loki and WandaVision and the Mando shows on Blu-ray. I think I only have Loki as of this recording that arrived. I would say I can recommend those just because I like all those shows I just listed, and I think it's really great to be able to own physical media of those shows if you're interested in that. Also, I loved Scream 6. I got the Steelbook for that, so I recommend that. I still love that movie to death. No pun intended, because the movie's about death. I don't know if that's a pun. Anyway, also, just kind of, I generically recommend this every year, but there are Sentai and Rider DVDs available. Sentai DVDs semi-recently came back within the last year plus. I don't remember the exact time frame. We've gotten Hurricaneger, Abba Ranger, I think 5-Man. I think Decker Ranger is out too. I haven't gotten it yet, but yeah, I would recommend those. They're not the greatest sets, but it's really cool to be able to own them. They're still solid, and I want to say this in a way that, like, if you're interested and you pick it up, it helps to support it because they might make more, but you're under no obligation to support it if you don't want to. I absolutely still am annoyed at people that are like, you're not a true fan unless you buy this season you hate. And also they've done Rider Blu-rays. They have Kuga, Zero One, and Dragon Knight Ryuki. I think they also have Black and Black RX ones, which are a different company and are kind of expensive. I keep waiting for those to go on sale, but the Ryuki, Kuga, and Zero One ones have gone on sale quite a bit, and I'd be shocked if they didn't go on sale at some point during the Black Friday, Christmas holiday season. That's how I picked them up. Like, I wasn't planning on picking up Zero One, but I wound up picking it up because it went on sale for cheap. I don't really have any game recommendations, to be honest, only because my game recommendations are stuff that's probably already on your radar. Like, the main 3 games I enjoyed most this year were Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, and Jedi Survivor. So those are probably already on your radar, and it's not exactly an original take. Right, now lastly, just some comics before I get to like the more channel related stuff and comics and books. I do recommend still checking out the High Republic. We're entering phase 3, so it can seem kind of overwhelming, but there's a lot of good content to consume. I recommend checking out Light of the Jedi and going from there. It's like books and comics. You could even pick up like the High Republic Phase 1 comics. I just really have been enjoying that. I like to recommend that. So, as far as stuff pertaining to the channel, there is the Power Rangers 30th Anniversary Special issue. You know, it's not like a graphic novel or book, but it's a one-off issue with stories all inspired by mmpr, which I still wish there would have been other seasons in this, since Once and Always focused on mmpr. But it's still a very solid issue with some really cool stories that I can recommend for this 30th anniversary year. Also, the MMPR TMNT crossover, this is the compendium of all of it, which is out. You know, I did review the individual issues, but I got the compendium as well. I love both of these crossovers. You know, I liked it way more than I thought I would. Both of them, it's some of my favorite comics in recent years. It's just a very fun, overall, solid edition. If you're a fan remotely of either of these, highly recommend it. Non-PR related, I did recommend this in something else. I think it was like my what to watch during the hiatus, like literally anything else because there's so many other shows. But Radiant Black, I just recently got into that. There's like a whole massive verse of other comics. But this is really cool. It's like, you know, Toku-esque, even though I don't really think of it that way so much. But yeah, really good comic, really cool, fun stuff. And also just pivoting back to PR for the end. Pivot! You know, I recommend these compendiums and getting into the PR comics. I mentioned in my recent review of this that, like, these can seem like, oh, this is an expensive bath. You don't have to buy these. You can get, like, the digital ones or the little graphic novel ones. But these are a good way to keep track of it and get, like, everything you need. And these very often go on sale. As mentioned in my review of this, I think the only time I ever saw them be Chronicles of Ridiculous Prices was the first 2 volumes, which they wound up re-releasing. But everything after, like, whatever Volume 3 was, which I think was Shattered Grid, I've seen go on some sort of sale. So I always like to recommend these. But that is it for my holiday recommendations for this year. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any recommendations, Toku-related or otherwise, to anyone in the comments, feel free to post them below. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dosm Rider, signing out.